What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show, episode 38. It is Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. The Twins just finished up. We decided we were going to record before, but then the Twins are about to start. You can't miss a Twins game because they're recording podcasts. But Jackson, we are here to do one thing. Talk about cat trades.
What's that?
If you are watching on YouTube right now, you can obviously see the header. It says cat trades. We both came up with a bunch of Karl-Anthony Towns trades. Over the last couple of days, there's been some rumors regarding a couple of teams that are possibly in on Karl-Anthony Towns, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat. I don't think that would happen.
Yep. We don't need to explain why.
The Brooklyn Nets possibly, and a few other teams. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to talk about them. But first, before we do this, I just want to talk about this Twins game tonight real quick. We were going to record the other day after that series against the Royals, and we're going to try and do more series recaps once the Twins finish series just to talk about what happened. But tonight's game was the first game of the year where I think Rocco Baldelli almost – he made two bad moves.
Also one good move.
He made two bad moves and
one good move
didn't cost them, but could have cost them. Well, and actually three. The third being, why didn't Joan Duran pitch? But that's whatever. Pitching Brock Stewart in the ninth inning is very questionable. He got away with that. And then not walking Tim Anderson in the 10th inning, got away with that. If the Twins lost on either of those two mistakes, which they really didn't, I would have been here blaming Rocco Baldelli, but he got away with it. So my overarching thought here is maybe it's the Twins' year and maybe it's Rocco's year, because I can't think of any other massive mistakes that Rocco has made this year. Can you?
No, he's been pretty good this year. I was a critic of him last year, but I think he's a good manager. I think he's been really good this year, so I have no complaints right now.
Did you? I just felt like
it's him one pitch hitting. I'll tell you the move that I didn't like, but first I'm going to tell you the move that I did like.
He brought in,
my boy Nick Gordon. He brought in Gordon for Taylor, lefty against righty, and Nick hit it out of the park, which was great to see. That great swing. I think he's going to start to get going here, which we're a big fan of him over at this show, and we just think he has it, and he's a great locker room guy. We hope he stays. But the move I didn't like was him bringing in Jorge Lopez in the 7th inning. That was weird because Joe Ryan was about, what was he at? Was he at 90 pitches?
87.
Yeah, I would have brought him back out for one more. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I would have brought Joe back for one more, finish up 7, and then maybe you can go to Jorge in the 8th. And then the 1-2 punch, Jorge in the 8th, and then the best closer in the game, Duran in the 9th.
But yeah, and Duran took a day off, which is weird because they had a day off yesterday. But yeah, I was 50-50 on that. I didn't hate it because Joe Ryan, was he kind of struggling in his last inning?
No, just he threw a lot of pitches, just a lot of good at bats by the White Sox. He didn't struggle.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 1 out of 162. It's not a big deal. But when your starting pitcher goes 6 innings, no runs, you got to win those games.
He's been really good, by the way.
It's been very good. Sonny Gray's been great. Pablo Lopez, I'm not worried about him. He's had a couple shaky starts, but I think it's because of the cold and supposedly he has a blister, so I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal, sort of, that the 4th and 5th pitchers aren't going to be here for a while. Like Kenta Maeda's not going to start for a little while. Tyler Maley's out for a number of weeks. I'm not saying it's a huge deal because I think Bailey Ober and Louis Varland are solid, but I don't know. I'd rather have those guys have depth guys, not necessarily penciled in the rotation.
I get what you're saying, but I think Ober is a legit pitcher.
I think more than Varland. Varland's the 5 innings, 3 earned run type guy.
Well, he's playing tomorrow. We'll see how he does.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Wolves here.
I like him though. I like Varland.
I don't mind him. Obviously, for nearly the entire year, you have been itching to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns trades. I've tried to hold you back a bit. I told you I will not talk about it until the season is over. Well, the season is over. And there is no better time to talk about and pull out the trade machine than now. It's the off season. Use our buddy Sakshan Gupta, use his trade machine. Unfortunately, with the cat thing, you can't plug his name into the trade machine until June 29th when he's eligible, which
That's
is
very important to note for the watchers right now.
Yeah. Now you'll see how I did this. I didn't take screenshots of the trade machine. I just made a couple graphics, but we'll start here and I'll go first. I don't even know which one I'm pulling up here, but this is my first one. To the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I recommend watching this if you're listening. Pull it up on YouTube because there is a graphic. It's easier to follow. And this is probably the deal I would do. This is my favorite deal. The Timberwolves send Karl-Anthony Towns and Taurean Prince to the Brooklyn Nets. They receive Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, 2 first-round picks, and a pick swap. I was scared to add the 3rd first-round pick because I feel like that would just be too good for the Wolves.
Yep.
Joe Harris is the salary filler because he is making a lot of money. I think he's making $18 million, which is pretty crazy, but that's sort of how the three-point shooters in this day and age, like the Bertans, the Duncan Robinsons, that's how they do it. And I know you made a Nets trade. That's the only thing that we both did. What are your thoughts on that trade? And do you think it's too much? Do you think it's too good for the Wolves? Like, do you think that's even possible?
Well, I like the trade. I would definitely do it. The thing is, it's the Nets, and they've done a lot of these trades lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hesitant to. I mean, I put them on the list too, but I don't know that I see them doing that again, making another huge blockbuster. I mean, I hope they do.
I agree, but I will say this: I can't picture they have such a weird team after that trade. I don't foresee them just running it back with they just have a bunch of wings.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just not a good defensive team because they just don't have any size. And the only way they can really their best success was going 5 small guys, and that's just not going to work. Yeah. So I foresee them making some moves, whether it's a massive move, I'm not sure. But we'll go to your trade. Let's do your Nets trade first. Because
can I say one more thing? We're on the Nets, so
yeah.
One thing about the Nets is Claxton. He's also a center, and they like him. He's young. He's kind of like Gobert, but like a lot better offensively, better hands. Yeah. So, do you think they would still do a cat trade?
Yeah, possibly.
And just have Claxton on the bench.
Like I think as much as it hasn't worked here, I think you can put Cat at the 4. Like I think that could work. The 5 just needs to be way more athletic than a Rudy Gobert.
Good point.
Because like Claxton can switch out onto a 4 or a 3. Gobert can.
For sure.
And Claxton is athletic enough to be able to not space the floor, but not necessarily always be in the way like Rudy is. Right. So I think Cat could play the 4 on another team. I do think he's a better 5, but
that's a good point.
Let's do your Nets trade. I think this is it. Yep. Here's your Nets trade.
Yep.
Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith, Patty Mills, who you sort of added in as the cap guy.
Yes.
Edmund Sumner.
Who could take over our backup point guard role.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I mean, he's a very mediocre player.
I like Sumner. He can shoot.
But we sort of have similar trade, to be honest. We both have Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. I just had Joe Harris instead of Patty Mills. And then you added Sumner, and I had a swap. So, I don't know. I think there's nothing more that needs to be said regarding the Nets and the Wolves. I do think this is actually, if we were to say the likeliness of a Wolves trade, I think this would be the most, maybe second most likely team. I just have a weird feeling.
I would do both those trades. I would do yours, and I would do mine. I really would. I think that is a good deal. You get back some really good role players. You get back some shooting that maybe you missed with Cat, and like you said,
get rid of Cat. You get rid of Cat. You sort of have a hole at the 4 position. Like you don't have much depth there because Cat was playing the 4, and I don't want Jaden McDaniels playing the 4. So a Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal, both those guys can play the 4, which I like.
Yeah.
All right. This one, I don't know how. Like that was, like I said, that was my favorite one. So these ones I don't like as much. This one I just was sort of scrolling through. Again, Pascal Siakam, 2026 first round pick. You don't get many assets back in terms of picks, but Siakam does fit a million times better than Cat did because he is a 4. He plays both sides of the ball. He can shoot it. And he's a good player. And they make the same amount of money, basically. And I'm forgetting how much, how many years his contract is. But off the top of my head, I want to say that he's on 2 years contract, or he has 2 years left. Would you ever do that?
I wouldn't. I mean, it's a fine trade, but I want more assets back. I like Siakam. He's a fine player. But I don't really know what his usage looks like, but it's another usage that I'm not sure that I want.
There's speaking of we were talking about before this, Phil Mackey on Score North today, they did a very similar thing to what we are doing. A bunch of Cat trades, possible Cat trades. He thought you could do, and I didn't like it, Jaylen Brown for Cat straight up. No, I don't like it. I wouldn't do that.
They would never do that.
Jaylen Brown is already unhappy because he wants to be the alpha guy.
Yeah.
No chance. He comes here, he's not going to necessarily be the alpha guy. And if he is, that takes away from Anthony Edwards. So I'm not about that.
The Celtics would never do that either, ever.
The reason I bring that up is because, like, I don't think Siakam is as much of it. I think he can play that second role really
well. You're right. I totally agree. I actually don't hate it as much as I maybe did, like, literally a minute ago, but I still wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I would rather get more assets back and better role players.
I'm with that. I didn't love that one. I just sort of made it. This one you did next. This is probably the most likely team according to what people are saying. RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, 2 firsts and a second for Cat. I would say the Knicks don't do this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I agree because of the run that they're making this year. And I just don't see it. I would do this, and this is the number one trade that I would do. I know I said that with the Nets. That is my favorite one right there because I think Quickley is phenomenal.
Yeah.
He would be our 6th man next year, and he would develop into our point guard of the future for sure. And
I think the Knicks are going to be so reluctant to trade him.
Yeah,
even though like
just all their players.
He is sort of. I know. So we've talked this year. The people don't know this, but regarding Tyrese Maxey, you're always saying that he doesn't necessarily fit with the Sixers. I pushed back a little bit.
You did,
but they're sort of similar. Maxey and Quickley. Not only did they both go to Kentucky, they play similar styles. But they also would flourish in a system where they get more run. Or they are more of the guy.
For sure.
Quickley, every time he starts, puts up a 30 ball. And Maxey, if like they didn't have Embiid and Harden, if one of those guys was gone, he'd have the ball way more. I think he would probably put up massive numbers. That being said, you can move Mike Conley to the bench. Emmanuel Quickley starts.
Gradually.
Or Quickley starts, is off the bench this year. And then moves into the starting spot. Obviously, I would love that. I just don't see the Knicks moving him. I don't
also, Cat and Julius Randle. That's a little weird.
Yeah, and they have Mitchell Robinson.
Right. And I just think they're probably going to be hesitant to do anything crazy. They held off last year doing anything crazy, and it has worked out very, very well for them. So I honestly think they're probably just going to keep it as is and maybe assess in 2 off seasons.
Okay. How about this one?
Wendell Moore.
I felt like I just feel like Brandon Ingram's a better player than Cat. And they need point guard depth. And so I tossed in Wendell Moore Jr. if that wants to entice them a little bit, I would do this just because he is a poor Brandon Ingram. And I don't know, like CJ McCollum had the ball plenty. I think he and Ant would be a interesting pairing. Interesting pairing. And he is a clutch shot maker.
Yeah, look, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I want assets back.
I know.
I want picks, and I want good role players. Look, I really like Ingram. I think he's an underrated player. I think he would be a great number 2 on a championship team, like a legit 2. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. But would the Pelicans do that? Zion and Cat?
I don't know. I mean, I just for whatever reason I've seen Brandon Ingram's name pop up a bit in the last couple of days, so I had to throw one together with Brandon Ingram.
I don't think that happens. I don't know.
I don't see it necessarily. I don't see necessarily any of these happening.
Well, no, exactly. None of these are going to actually happen, but like something like that.
Yeah,
some of these could happen.
Yeah. All right.
That's fine.
You did one more, and
I did a few. I think I did 2 more.
Correct. You did 2 more.
Yeah, this one.
You talk about this. This is your freaking baby. This is one you've been talking about for a couple of years now. So please entice me into this one again.
You're right, John. And Lewis Crosby can attest to this too. I have been talking about this, like John said, for a long time. Yeah, Peyton Pritchard, I think, could be a very good backup point guard. He doesn't get much playing time, but on pretty much any other team in the league, he is a really good backup point guard. Robert Williams is one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. He has an amazing contract, and he is, not old at all. He's very young. Grant Williams, great defender, power forward, can shoot the 3, hard-nosed player, can guard the best player on the other team. Really, really good. And Derek White, I don't think the Celtics would do this if you throw in Derek White, but I had to for the salary purposes. He's like their 3rd best player. He's really good in crunch time, distributing the ball, good defender, hit shots. So he'd be great for the Wolves to put next to Ant. And then I only did 1 first-round pick and 3 seconds, which I would still do. I would do that because those are some of the best role players in the league right there on that screen.
Yeah.
And you got a 2025 first. That's 1 more first rounder that we got. And 3 seconds, not nothing. You can trade 2nd-round picks for good role players.
That one's interesting. I think that one, more than any other one, gives us a team similar to last year. I think Derek White, it's like Grant Williams, sort of the Vanderbilt.
Right.
Beasley, there's not necessarily a Beasley in there. Maybe Derek White. Derek White's sort of a Beasley / Pat Bev. Robert Williams. Do we get rid of a big? I guess you could call him Walker Kessler. And then we get a pick back with some stuff. I don't know. I just feel like that one more than anything gives us just more depth.
Pritchard,
a lot of depth.
I think Pritchard is a much better J-Mac.
Yeah, I just think like the Nets one, the players are better in my opinion. Like I think Finney Smith and Royce O'Neal are better than any. Derek White maybe, but they're better than Grant Williams is a bona fide role player. Robert Williams is a bona fide. Maybe you got to have great players around him for him to be a starter. Otherwise, I think he could be a bench player, especially with Naz Reid. I don't know where he fits in.
Right, that's where it kind of got tricky. In this situation, I would want to move Rudy as well, and I would want to plug Robert Williams into the starting center role because he has much better hands than Rudy. He's a better offensive player than Rudy, and honestly, he's probably as good of a shot blocker right now, and he will get better. So and like I said, he is such a good contract. And
Robert?
Yeah. Great contract.
All right.
Yeah. Like that's it.
This is one I made that's probably my least favorite, but I think this team could be a sneaky option.
Okay.
the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard's last ride. They try and get him a player in their eyes that could take them over the top.
Yep.
I don't love these players, but like honestly, their roster sucks.
Exactly. That's the same. I looked at them to make a trade, and I didn't like anybody on their team.
So I just freaking added 3 players that you just have to add. Anthony Simons is a good player. I think he could be a really good 6th man on a really good team.
Absolutely.
And then 3 firsts, which is probably the most important part of this trade.
Yep.
So, I mean, I would do this just to get those 3 first-round picks.
I couldn't agree with you more right now.
And I think this team makes a lot of sense for a cat trade.
Yes.
I don't love the players, but I would do it.
I agree.
Did we go through all 4 of yours?
No, one more.
One more. Nope, we did that. We did the Celtics. We did the Nets.
Here it is.
Clippers. All right. I'll say it.
Well,
Norman Powell, Bones Highland, Nick Batum, 3 seconds. Now, why?
Okay, so this would be a team that like would make a trade like this, because they want to make the most out of their Kawhi and Paul George window.
Yeah.
But the problem is they have no firsts, and so I said, if I'm on the phone, I'm like, okay, you have no first to give me, then you have to give me your best bench player in Norman Powell, who would instantly become our 6th man and just be fantastic. Bones Highland, who you and I are fans of, who we've wanted for, I don't know, a few months now.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be a really good backup point guard, great scorer, great teammate. I just think he'd be a really good fit. Who else do we have? Can you put it back up there?
Nick Batum.
Yeah, Batum. Yeah, also, I think he would be our starter. We would plug him in the 4. Good defender, can shoot the 3. He's a veteran. He's been in some battles. I
think that's another team, like I was just mentioning with the Blazers.
Yeah,
that team does make sense, because I don't see them just running it back. I don't see that happening. I also don't see them rebuilding. I think they try and make one more big punch.
Yeah.
And it could be a cat trade because, I don't know, Zubats, they can upgrade that position. So that gets rid of their depth, which makes them, I would say that actually makes them a worse team.
Yeah.
Like, I think Batum is a big player for them. And maybe Covington could slot into that role. And Powell is a big player for them because Kawhi and PG are going to miss some games. Powell always steps up.
But I think it makes sense for them. I really do. I think that makes sense. And was it 3 first-rounders or 3 second-rounders that I said, or 4?
Yeah, 3.
I mean, they don't have any picks to trade.
I would choose other trades over that one.
Yeah, but they have no picks. They can't trade a first-rounder. So if you give us 3 second-rounders, which like we've talked about, those are valuable. They are.
They're really going all in. Would they have a draft pick? Any single draft pick for years to come. Yeah. Although, they could trade Kawhi for 2 first-round picks. They could trade Paul George at any point. They could trade guys. So,
but
if they want to blow it up at any point.
But I kind of like that. I kind of like that one. I know it's only 3 second-round picks, but I think that's a really interesting trade.
All right, my last one, the Dallas Mavericks. I added Taurean Prince again to make the money fit.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily love these players again, which is why I added 3 first-round picks again. This is similar to the Portland Trailblazers one. I don't like any. I like Simons more than any of those 4 players.
Josh Green's good.
Josh Green's good, and Jaden Hardy can shoot the crap out of the ball, and he's super young. Tim Hardaway, I hate Tim Hardaway's game. He is the classic. Thinks he's an amazing shooter, shoots 32% from 3 every year. Tim Hardaway just hucks up threes. And then Davis Bertans is the classic money cap filler. He's making $18 million. He should be making 3. But the major thing here is obviously the 3 first-round picks. And
they would never do that.
I agree. I think they would give us one of Green or Hardy.
And I think they would probably give us 1 first-round pick. I don't even think they give. I think they give us 1 first-round pick and maybe a.
That'd be the worst. That'd be the worst trade of any of these then, because we're not getting a single really like solid player. Maybe Josh Green, but that's it.
Look, if you give us Green and Hardy, only 1 first, maybe they do it.
Would you do that? I wouldn't. I mean, if I had options, I would not do that trade.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the options. So what's your favorite trade out of all the ones listed?
Most intriguing? Brandon Ingram is the most intriguing. Okay. This year, I never respected his game enough until I watched way too much Pelicans basketball this year.
Right.
He is a freaking deadly from the mid-range. What do I think is the best for the Wolves? And then I'll let you go. I think the best. I'll just say the Nets one, just because it would give us great depth in Finney Smith and Royce O'Neal.
Absolutely.
Joe Harris could shoot the piss out of the ball, and you get 2 firsts. So I think that's the most we would be getting of any of these. But I think it's the best. What's your favorite?
I like the Nets one too, but I just have a hard time seeing them giving us all that.
I agree.
Really, but let's go through, or just like go quickly through them so I can refresh my memory.
Okay, Pascal Siakam.
Okay, keep going.
The Nets one, Blazers, Brandon Ingram.
Okay, hold on.
Knicks.
I mean, that is my favorite, but it probably isn't going to happen, so keep going.
Celtics. Nets. Clippers. Dallas Mavericks.
All right, I'll go with either. I said the Knicks one, but it probably isn't going to happen. You can't see them doing it. Right?
Right. I just don't see them giving away quickly and RJ Barrett.
And can you
Barrett
see the
is
Celtics
playing really well in these playoffs, by the way.
Can you see the Celtics doing that?
Where is the Celtics one? If they lose in this round, like honestly, I think it depends on how far they go in these playoffs.
They're only giving up a first. Like that's what they'd say. Like like their fans, they'd be like, "Oh, all we gave up was Derek White, Robert Williams, and a first."
Yeah, I think you could move Robert Williams to the bench, and Hal Horford's old as hell. Cat could play the 5 alongside. I don't know who their 4 would be, but then Brown, Tatum, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon. That's a good team.
I actually think they would maybe consider that.
They'd consider it. I think they would, but I think it's if they want to make a move. If they aren't super into making a trade, I don't necessarily see them going for that because I think they can get better than just Cat.
Yeah. My favorite one is
give away all that depth.
My favorite one is the Knicks. But I actually really like that Clippers one too.
I don't want to get no first. That's why we're doing this. I'd be fine trading Cat for 3 firsts. That's it.
Same.
No players.
Same.
I don't necessarily want just 3 role players.
No, I agree. I agree. Just the Knicks one's the best one to me.
That's why if I'm not going to get picks back, I better get a player like Brandon Ingram or Pascal Siakam maybe. That's my mindset.
Yeah. I don't – the only one I didn't like was let's see. Actually, I kind of liked all of them. Every single one I liked, but some of the teams just would say no so quick.
Yeah. Earlier today, we were texting. I told you you were getting a little pissy at me, calling me. You didn't call me anything actually, but you said boo, and I said we'll talk about this on the podcast.
Yep.
It is about Chris Finch and how he has hitched his wagon to Karl-Anthony Towns. I agree to an extent.
You'd never want to just to limit Cat to the corner. You never want to do that with someone with the offensive ability of Cat. Yeah, right.
I think my whole point was I said that what ticked you off is when I said I don't blame Chris Finch for trying to get Cat going because the only way the Wolves win that series is if Cat plays well. I think that's why we lost in 5. Cat was trash. Ant was great, but Ant's not to the point yet that he can be the only good player. You know what I mean?
He literally had zero help, though. Did you see that graphic? Did you see that graphic that I sent you?
What? That he was like alongside Jokic and Butler and those guys?
No. Like where it was like the rest, like all the Timberwolves like in the middle.
Yeah.
And Ant was so high to the right. That is literally like he had zero help. It's crazy.
Would you agree that Cat is the second best player on the team?
Yeah.
I was going to hope you didn't say no to that. So if you're a coach and Cat has that type of offensive scoring potential, he is a good offensive player if you use him correctly.
We'll also shoot you out of
game. Am I telling you that Chris Finch used Cat in the right way? No. I am saying the intention of trying to get Cat going was not the worst thing ever. Like he was an All-NBA player last year.
And honestly,
we shouldn't
be happy about that because now he got that huge contract thanks to that.
Weren't you the one that was all about that? You're the one that's all about player awards.
No, I admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about that. I couldn't see the bigger picture. But boy, do I see it now.
But my point is, and then we started talking about how you're always the one that thinks that Ant, if he's not playing well, it's on someone else. It's because Cat's on the floor. It's because Chris Finch is not running plays for him. No. When Anthony Edwards wants to score 30 points, Anthony Edwards will score 30 points. I will die on that hill. There is a reason both playoff years, the last 2 years, Anthony Edwards has popped off because he's been dialed in and he demands the ball and he doesn't run to the corner. He runs to the top of the key and grabs the ball. Like that's not Chris Finch. That's Anthony Edwards. It's Anthony Edwards. That's it.
Okay, well, what about opening games? First play, we're gonna run an action.
Yeah, I don't love seeing Cat go to the post and put his hand up, and the play clearly be a post up, 30 feet from the basket, and then Cat just not know what to do. That's not ideal.
First play of the game.
Again, he's trying to get Cat feeling good, which maybe because he knows Ant's already feeling good and he doesn't need to run stuff for Ant. So
let's just hope that was the last time we see him in a uniform.
I'm not worried about Anthony Edwards. I'm not worried about Chris Finch. Like I think Chris Finch is. I'm not. What are you worried about Anthony Edwards?
If we bring Cat back, yes.
Oh, another thing.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You think if they make no moves, they will not be a better team?
Yes.
You can't get worse than they were this year.
Yes, you can because the rest of the West, we got lucky last year. That's the crazy part about it. We got lucky.
But what you're saying, and you can't say no to this. If you're saying the team can't get better, you're also saying that Anthony Edwards will not improve. Jaden McDaniels will not improve. Naz Reid, if he's back, will not improve.
I don't know.
You don't think they'll improve?
With the roster construction now, I don't know.
No. Again, it's on Anthony Edwards. It's not on anybody else. If he doesn't improve, it's his fault.
No, maybe it'd be the front office's fault.
Am I saying that his ceiling is better with this roster? No. That's why I want a Cat trade.
Yeah.
But can he get 10% better? Yes. And would that help the team? Yes. And is the team chemistry better? Yes. Was our defense really good this past year? When
Oh,
our
okay.
roster
So
was
we
full?
improved by a couple wins. Okay, now we're a 5 seed. Oh wow, celebrations! We're a 5 seed. We bow out in 6 games, and guess what? We didn't trade Cat when we could have, and now he's making $60 million a year, and now
Couldn't
we
agree
won't get
more.
nearly as much as we thought we could.
Couldn't agree more. But that would mean we are better next year.
But at what?
That's all I'm saying.
That's you wouldn't even. I don't even want to be better if that's the case.
I don't want to be worse. This year was hell. I don't want to be
was.
worse.
It was hell. Yeah.
I'm a fan, okay? I'm not going to root for if they don't make a trade. Oh well.
No, not oh well. Actually,
What are you going to do?
It's not really oh well.
What are you going to do? You can't change anything. This is being a fan 101. If I worked for the team and I had influence on this, yeah, maybe I'd be a Sachin Gupta and want to go to Houston. But I'm not. I don't work for the team. I'm a fan, and I want to see this team win games. I don't want to watch them next year lose more games than they did this year. And so, no matter who is on the court, it could be Robbie Hummel, Luke Ridnour, and Chase Buttinger, and I'll root for this team to win ball games. It could be Rudy Gobert. It could be Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. And unfortunately, I will also be rooting for this team to win as many games as they can. That's how it is.
That's why it sucks being a Wolves fan.
The only time I ever root for a team to lose, and it's actually no, I've never rooted for the Wolves to lose a game.
Really?
Have you? Yes, you have.
I feel like I have to.
You absolutely have. The only time I think I would maybe concede that I should have rooted against wins. Maybe not. The end of the first Chris Finch season when we were actually winning ball games.
Yeah.
And we ended up, was that the year
losing out on Kuminga or whatever?
Yeah. Lost on that pick.
Yeah.
Would we have made the playoffs the next year? Because we rode some good momentum and we started winning ball games. If we went and kept losing, so we were 7-24 when Chris Finch got hired.
we know, we memorized that permanently. Like, what was the record when Saunders was fired?
If we finished 20-62, I don't foresee us winning or making the playoffs the next year. I think us winning games. So I don't know where I'm going with this tangent, but my point is I'm going to root for this team no matter who's on the roster. And if you don't, you're just your fandom is incorrect.
I think I might be done. I think I might just be done if they run it back. I really think
that's fine. But what are you going to do on a Tuesday night in November?
Probably watch a different sport. Probably watch the Wild.
What if they're not playing? You will watch the Wolves. I know you.
I know. No, I'll watch, but it'll just be like just an awful experience like it was this year, where it's not fun, where it's like, ugh.
Oh, there are some good experiences. The Knicks win, the Kings on the road. There were some good times, some bad times. Christmas Eve night in Target Center. That was depressing. We lost to the Pistons twice, the Rockets twice,
the Hornets twice,
the Spurs twice, and
the Blazers.
We still made the playoffs. What does that say?
I don't know. It's depressing. That's what it says.
If we were the 4 seed, what would your outlook be? Say we're the 4 seed and we're in the second round of the playoffs right now. What are you saying?
I couldn't see it.
It's that was absolutely possible. You win 3 more games against those bad teams. You're the 4 seed.
Well, the way the roster was constructed, it was impossible to win those games.
No, it wasn't. Okay. Anthony Edwards could have grown up. Jaden McDaniels could have grown up. Chris Finch could have yelled at the team a little bit more. Stuff like that could have happened. They could have won those games. It wasn't impossible with this roster. Hell, Hamidou
the front
Diallo,
office
Corey
bet on
Joseph,
D'Lo. The front office bet on D'Lo, so I kind of
Rodney
think
McGruder.
it was impossible.
Okay, real quick. We're 40 minutes into this. This is where it could get dark and dirty. Tim Connelly has
accepted the job with the Washington Wizards.
What, 4 moves as the Wolves president and GM?
What do you mean by moves?
I call Kyle Anderson signing a move. I call the
okay. Also,
trade a move.
Rivers, and the other guy that we signed.
I call Austin Rivers a move. I call the Mike Conley trade a move.
You're missing another signing in there.
Do I have to look at the roster?
No. You know who I'm talking about.
I can't think of him right now.
Oh, you can't?
It's been a week since I've seen this team play.
Well, he's not on the team anymore. He got released.
Oh, Cheeks. Yeah. So we're not going to mention his name. We're just going to call him Cheeks. So no, let's do this. This is a good exercise, okay?
What a move that was.
While I sit here and I pull up my notes app, the first move that he made drafted Walker Kessler.
But no, it's voided. It's voided because he traded. No, you can't do that. You can't.
Because that's a part of the trade.
No,
that's
because
a separate
he traded
move.
it, so it doesn't count. No, it's voided.
Did he not draft Yusuf Nurkic in Denver?
What do you mean?
That's what he did. Then he traded him.
Sucks.
That if you could guarantee me a Yusuf Nurkic career out of the next time we draft a player, I'll take it. Okay. First move, I guess, was the Rudy Gobert trade. Okay.
So that's a negative 5,000 out of 10.
Zip it. Kyle Anderson signing. Austin Rivers signing. Cheeks signing. Okay. Let's see here. Am I missing anything?
Beverly gone.
They signed
Vanderbilt gone.
They
Beasley,
signed
gone.
Matt Ryan.
Kessler gone.
Matt Ryan. The Mike Conley trade. I count 6 moves by Tim Connelly. We're gonna grade each move. Okay.
Okay. All right. Like A through F.
Yep.
Okay.
Rudy Gobert trade. We'll give it an F.
F.
Kyle
Massive
Anderson.
F.
You know what? We're gonna do this separate. You give a grade. I give a grade.
Okay. Well, you agree with me. That's both an F.
On that one, yes, but we're not gonna agree on some of these. I bet.
So say it's an F.
I agree. Yeah, F. That's an F. Kyle Anderson signing.
A minus.
Wow. I was thinking you'd give that a B plus.
A minus.
I give that an A. Austin Rivers signing.
C plus.
Wow. I thought you liked Austin Rivers.
I did. I do.
So, well, okay. So this is just Tim Connelly dripping into your opinion on the Austin Rivers.
No, that's actually how I feel. No, C plus.
But you want him back?
Yeah.
So
I'll go B minus.
That doesn't add up.
What would you
I give it a B.
Okay. Oh, B minus, B, same. I mean,
Cheeks.
F.
Couldn't have been worse. I'll give it an F. Matt Ryan.
D plus.
I'll
34% shooter, 3-point specialist.
I'll give it a C minus. And finally, the Mike Conley trade. I give it an A minus.
Yeah, sure. A minus.
All right, so I don't know what the GPA year would be, but
Calculate it now.
Are we gonna do this?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna pull up a GPA calculator.
He has
Google.
2 Fs.
All right, ready? Present screen. We're gonna share screen. I hope people are still with us because this is fun.
What?
I hope people are still watching because this is funny.
Oh, they're here.
Okay. Add to stream. Okay. Am I a white screen Google right now?
I think.
Can you see that?
No.
You can't? Yes, you can.
Okay, just go to the calculator.
I'm going. College GPA calculator.
And by the way, the Gobert trade is an AP class.
Okay, can you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay. High school GPA calculator. Maybe this.
Okay, I can't see the GPA thing though. I can't.
What do you see right now?
The StreamYard thing.
Okay, hold on. We'll do this.
Dude, he has like a 1.7 GPA.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. This is a great exercise. Okay. Let's do.
Oh, this is bad.
Okay, do you see my screen now?
Yes. All right, here we go.
You can see me typing. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go. We're gonna allow. Okay. Come on, baby. This is great. This is the best idea I've ever had. All right.
Just Rudy.
Horse name, Rudy. How many credits? 5.5.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the most credits you can give it.
Okay. Yes, I like that. I like
honors? That. Is this an honors?
It's the highest everything.
AP?
Yes.
Okay. How about that? That's better.
All right, good. Keep going. Kyle Anderson. 2 credits.
We'll give it A
minus.
I gave an A, so
all
we're going to give it an A.
Do A. Yeah.
Okay. Austin Rivers.
B minus.
We'll give it a B. All right, we'll give it a B minus.
Gotta replace Beasley, remember? D plus, come on. It's not anything higher. Yep. A minus. Good.
Tim Connelly has officially been given a 1.68 GPA in his first season as the Minnesota Timberwolves general manager.
That's a good year.
Is he passing? No, he's not. Will he be given another year? Probably. But one more year and he might be expelled.
Think they'd no.
All right. Well, I think that was good. We've been 50 minutes here, and we've gone through cat trades. We talked Twins at the beginning. Man, that feels like a year ago. We've talked about our little text messages this morning, and then we just went through Tim Connelly and gave him grades for all of his moves. He has come out with a 1.68 cumulative GPA. Jackson, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah,
everybody, please go like and subscribe to the JT Sports Show. After this series against the Chicago White Sox, we will recap that and
or probably the White Sox and Indians.
Yeah, we can talk after the Indian series. That's probably more likely, knowing us. And whatever. I mean, the next time we talk, I don't think there will be any Wolves news. unless Anthony Edwards likes another Instagram comment.
Ooh.
Or any more news comes out regarding him throwing a chair at a lady and tickling her. Obviously, the NBA playoffs are going on. It's a commercial right now between the Warriors and the Lakers. Do you know what the score is of that game? Because I am interested in that game. D'Angelo Russell, there's no way can be on the floor during the series. I'm not sure who he could be hidden on. D'Lo is 3 for 8, 1 for 3 from 3. Hey, real quick before we go, would you have any interest, a 0.1% interest in signing Dillon Brooks?
Yes.
You would?
A 0.1? Yes.
For $20 million.
No.
That's what he wants.
He's not. Well, definitely
actually
interested.
I'm lowballing it. He wants $25 million.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, I don't want him here at all. I do think the Grizzlies, real quick. I was going to sign off here, but then I thought about Dillon Brooks real quick. The Grizzlies are going to miss him. He made Jaren Jackson better defensively. They don't have a perimeter. They have 0 perimeter defenders now. So they better get their act together. Otherwise, their defense is going to take a massive hit. That's like us losing Jaden McDaniels. Even though Jaden's going to be a better player, they're somewhat similar right now. Jaden just doesn't open his mouth nearly as much as Dillon Brooks. All right. Thank you for listening. Everybody go like and subscribe. Follow us on our social media platforms. But other than that, we'll be back in a few days to talk about the Twins after they beat the White Sox and the Guardians. Thank you for listening.